Shalom, this is Nazama Shalhamadabar Yasharal on my channel Nazama the Hebrew Mystic Healer. Before I get started, as always, I'd like to show some love to my 3D Ken, the 12 tribes of Israel scattered to the four corners of this earth plane of existence. Much love and shalom to you. I would also like to show some love to my cosmic kin, scattered to the 12 dimensions of this universal egg matrix. Much love and shalom to you as well. And as always, show some love and support to my viewers, especially those of you who are subscribed. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so now, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Also, if you like this video, give it a like. It does help, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about Mother Tiamat, the epithet or expression of the Great Mother, the primordial goddess. This particular cultural epithet is specific within Babylon and Akkadia and Sumer. However, this goes back to the very beginning. She is the dark womb. She is the void. She is the mother of mothers. She is the mother of gods. She is the mother of dragons. She is the mother of us all. She's known in many texts and cultures and scriptures as Tehom, as Leviathan, as the ancient dragon, the ancient serpent, the mother of dragons, as the dark womb, the watery abyss, the goddess of salt water, the dark goddess. She is the first and the last. She is the all. She is the I am. She is the female principle, the first female principle. Creation, the very formation, light, sound, and vibration came out of her womb. Within the Enuma-Elish, which is the Babylonian, Akkadian, Sumerian creation story, she is depicted as being overthrown or usurped by her children, the gods, the Anunnaki, the Nephilim. However, she said that this is a fallacy, that this text was written this way in order for mankind to forget about her, for humans to forget about her, for the root races to forget about her. Because if you think about the story of Enuma-Elish, a dark goddess gone mad who creates monsters to kill her own children. When you look at this mythology, Marduk slaying her to create the world and the universe seems like an act of justice, an act of heroism. But it is an act of betrayal, it is a usurpation. And it's not true, not in the literal sense. She is in all, she is in everything, she is everything, and we are in her and she is in us. This story is more so an expose on the attempt of the dark priesthood around the world to write the mother out of existence, to degrade her, to disgrace her, to usurp her, to sacrifice her, cut her up in pieces, polarize her, feed on her, use her energy for their own means. But she cannot be subdued. She cannot be replaced. She is always and ever present. And she made that very clear to me when I spoke with her. And I could feel her speaking through my crown, speaking through my sacral chakra region. I felt her currents pulsing throughout my entire body, healing me emotionally. I actually was getting tears in my eyes because I could feel emotional blocks shake loose. I could feel the vibration of her currents breathing in and out and pulsating through everything. Her energy was dark and deep and primordial and comforting like a mother's womb. Just talking with her, I felt like a fetus curled up within her. It took me back to my first memory of her, which, by the way, is not this encounter I'm speaking of in this particular human avatar body. But my first encounter with her, my first memory of her, is the very beginning of time. I remember, as I've told you guys before in other videos, my first memory or first emanation was as a Nibiru, rainbow-feathered serpent dragon with 6 wings, coming out of her womb and forming soul stars and entering the universe. She was the womb. She was my home. She was my all. Although I know the primordial father was present, that his seed gave life to her womb, it was her womb that brought me into existence. It was her womb that I remember. She is my mother. She will always be my mother. No matter how many mothers I have in other aspects or expressions of the dimensions of my consciousness, she is the first mother. She is the all-mother of all. Now what's interesting is after I talked with her, and it was really funny because she made it clear, she at least how she was talking with me, she's not really concerned with, as far as if you're wanting to talk to her, if you're wanting to deal with her, because a lot of the cuneiform has been, basically kept from us. We only have a handful of people on Earth that actually know how to, translate it. We're relying on them for the information. A lot of the tablets and the texts have been lost and distorted. It's very difficult to find her original sigil, her original symbol, her original name spelled out in cuneiform. The best way to really meditate on her is to find a sigil. And I like to use the one with the eye with the 7 dragon heads. I feel like that is very accurate to her. I did ask her, and she did confirm that she is a water dragon, or a water serpent, however you want to call it. And that is the form that she chooses to take most often than not. She has no limitation because, as I said, she is literally all. And how she appeared to me was actually very similar to the sigil I used, but I could just see the energy currents pulsing of this, I want to say icy blue or neon blue energy. These layers of blues as well, in the darkness, speaking out, pulsating. It was like a black light that I can't explain. It looked blue though, but I knew it was like some sort of primordial light that's the best way I could even explain it. And that's the easiest way to get a hold of her. And I recommend, doing an energy shield first, creating a sacred space around you where only she can enter so that you don't deal with any counterfeit situations. Because as I said, she's already in all. So I feel like she's actually the easiest aspect I've ever been able to contact, because literally she is in us already, all in us. It's not just in one aspect or another. She is the first, and so she's known by many names, but she is the first, and so it's very easy to get in touch with her if you're at that energy level, if you're at that frequency. If you are able to tap into your inner primordial nature and you're able to tap into the primordial currents outside of yourself as well, you'll be able to access her quite easily. And she is not picky, at least not when I was talking with her. She doesn't expect a lot. She doesn't expect anything fancy. She just wants to be acknowledged by her children. Although she doesn't need it, she simply is. She's all and everything, but she does want to set the record straight. And I asked her if there was a certain, ritual that she liked, or certain ways she wanted to do things, certain offerings. And she said she doesn't really care about candles or stones or special ways of getting hold of her, but she did say she enjoys offerings of snakeskin and maple syrup. Not together, but she mentioned those two as offerings. Not that she requires it or needs it, but she enjoys it. And I think it has more to do with the symbolism and the energy of the substance, because any energy or frequency, any level of consciousness, it's not like they're literally eating the food. They're touching the energy. They're absorbing the energy. I just love her. She has a very deep, nurturing, motherly side. And I feel like because she's in all, she knows everything intimately. She can feel it going on within her, and it's just amazing. But I don't want to keep going on and on about the emotional aspect of it. I want to sort of go into the next part I wanted to talk about. And what I found interesting was, as soon as I contact her, and as soon as I, stopped talking with her, and I could still feel the pulsation and the energy and stuff of the healing that was still circulating within my body, even though she withdrew her presence in that sense of her just, being present, communicating with me directly. Although still all around me, obviously. What was interesting is, out of nowhere, this false Seraphim being showed up. And it really threw me off, because I had recently just redone all of my wards and all of my protections and my space. Being a psychic, a medium, a mystic, a channeler, it's really important for me to protect myself. And I had just redone all of them. And I heard this voice just pop in my head and said, "You're being fooled." And I said, "Who is this?" And I heard the truth. And I said, "Okay, but who is this?" And the voice was quiet for a minute and then said, "Ariel." And I said, "Are you human?" And the longer I was talking to this consciousness or this being or aspect, the more they were materializing as a conscious projection into the space next to me. And I couldn't make out a for sure shape, but it felt feminine to me. And I asked, "Are you human?" And I got, "No, I'm an angel." I said, "Really?" I said, "What kind of angel?" And she said, "I'm a seraphim of the violet ray." And knowing that I have seraphim incarnations, I said, "Okay, so do we know each other?" She said, "Not in this incarnation." But this being wouldn't go into any more details. So I said, "Okay, I want to ask you." I'm listening. First of all, she was way too close to my energy field, to my shield I had. So I said, "Can you back off?" And I saw the energy jump over about 1.5 feet. And then I literally turned and I looked at her. I said, "So in what way am I being fooled?" And she said, "Well, you're being fooled by Tiamat, the ancient serpent, the old serpent." I said, "I'm aware of who she is and that she's been vilified." I said, "So I want to hear, though. I'm open to hear and learn, I'm open to listen. In what way is she fooling me?" And every time I tried to get a specific answer from this being or this entity, she just kept dodging. And finally, after I kept pressing this question, all of a sudden she changed and she started snarling at me, and it was like clawing, like a woman with teeth. And all of a sudden she looked white, I think like with brownish, reddish hair, with teeth, just clawing and snarling like an animal against my shield. But it didn't feel quite solid. It didn't feel like there was any danger of shield penetration. It was like a kid scratching a window or something, and with their nails. And I just said, "You need to go." And then the consciousness left. I sat there for a minute, and being the logical person I am, because this is the first time I worked with Tiamat, to me this just kind of solidified how everything has been inverted and how she has been vilified and how there is an active, basically force that is trying to basically make us forget the Divine Mother, make us forget the Dark Mother. That there's an active, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, I'm not saying it, but there's definitely an intentional program that is trying to cut us off from her, because she is the Great Mother. She is the 90%. And I was open to hear. I was open to hear what this being had to say. And another thing I found interesting is I didn't know how this being got past my shield. So I have a servitor that is one of my protections I have in place that I created specifically for guarding the house and guarding myself and my husband. So I called my servitor over and I asked him, I said, how did this being get in? And he said, there was nobody here. Whoever you were talking to was located outside of here and they were projecting their consciousness. I said, okay, by location, that makes sense. But this also helped me realize that I needed to fix, that I had some holes in my wards, because even though no being could physically get in, they were still able to, remote view or bilocate their consciousness, and that just isn't okay with me. I don't want just random consciousnesses projecting into my space trying to talk to me, So I basically talked, to my demonic and my higher self, and I was like, look, who was this? They're like, this is a fake. This is an extra dimensional being. This isn't Seraphim. They were just telling you that because they know, you feel connected to Seraphim, you feel connected to Anunnaki, so they were trying to play off of that and try to dissuade you from dealing with the mother. I was like, that makes sense. So I thought it was really uncanny that this literally happened less than 5 minutes after I talked to Tiamat. So it was pretty amazing. There's definitely a concerted effort. That's the phrase I was looking for. A concerted effort to cut people off, because that is an aspect of who we are. It's 90% of who we are. She represents that, the unconscious mind, the primordial waters. If we're disconnected from that and we're only operating from our conscious side and our light side and our masculine conscious minds, not that the Father isn't important, he is, but if we're only operating from that part, just to take this in a more Jungian or even just an esoteric direction, then we're cutting ourselves off from the majority of who we are. And, we have to honor our parents, spiritual and physical, mother and father. She is our mother. So she is a spiritual ancestor. She's an ancestral power. She is the creatrix of the multiverse, of everything. So I just felt the need to do this video. I wanted to share that experience. I wanted to share with you guys. I am going to do some future videos on working with different epithets of the primordial mother and the primordial father also in the future coming up. I'm still going to finish other videos, guys. I know I still have other series I haven't finished yet, but I like to do things organically and go along with, my own intuition and where I'm guided, and as a mystic, as a channeler, as a psychic, as a medium, as a shaman, as a light worker and shadow worker, I try to be open as a conduit to what I believe needs to be delivered to my audience and to my clients. And having said that, if you are interested in an akashic reading, definitely reach out to me. As always, I put that link in the drop-down menu. Or if you're interested in joining Patreon so you can learn how to access these aspects within yourself, your own ancestral powers, your own self, the soul family, your own spirit guides, higher self, totems, etc., and much, much more. I have a link in the drop-down menu for that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, as I said, please give it a like, and I'm going to have more videos like this on the way. And I'll also be, as soon as possible, putting out the remaining videos of my series that I have yet to finish, such as the Kabbalah Part 3 and the Hidden History of the Universe from the Anunnaki Perspective channel by the Council, Nine Mind Council, Part 2. So I love you guys. Take care. Much love and shalom.